All right. What is up, people? Okay. I see. Let's see. I'm checking up in the chat. Give me 1 second. One second. Oh my god. You guys are funny. All right. Let's commence the yapping. Now, I'll be honest. I was not reading the chat since I last said holy. So let me see what's going on. What's up, people? Catgirl, how's it going? Fishy Alaska, Mick, SVC, what's up, Louise? Bob to Platypus, did I say Data Buffer? Fish in J. Fish in J said there's a pre-stream chat now. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Man, a lot of assumptions in the chat this early. So, let me make sure the chat's on the screen. Now, I did see someone who I guess talked to me on Reddit. This stream has nothing to do with a conversation I had on Reddit. This would just be something that I talked about on stream regardless. Now, as far as... I feel like you're jumping to a lot of assumptions. Let's see. They said, for real, you're making an entire stream over an argument we had me on Discord? No. It's honestly nothing personal. It's got nothing to do with our Discord conversation. It's just, a major Betta retailer was accused of poaching. That's usually something we talk about on the stream, so it's really nothing personal. Part where you made assumptions about what... Okay, that's about the Discord thing still. I don't think you're operating okay, blah, blah. Okay, so this is all about the Discord conversation. Gotcha. Now, I actually made the title to be as little sensational as possible, believe it or not. That's why there's no Discord named in the title. There's no business named in the title. I didn't put anything in the title related to a specific person. Now, as far as the murderous part, I have seen several screenshots of the people that made the Reddit post threatening to kill people or claiming they kill people. So as far as that goes, I have no problem with that. But I did put a question mark, so it's up in the air. It's not stated as a fact. So that's where to begin. Now I see... Okay, Louise is mad at me, so she's in the chat. For the record, it's a retail store's responsibility. Yep. Yeah, see, a lot of people already assuming what I'm going to even say or talk about before we get started, which is great. I mean, it's going to be a good stream, so I'm glad you guys are all here. All right, so what's up, Jacob? How's it going? JP, how's it going? Hardest working. Yep, we're in the building, of course. Mick, I hope that you had a good meal and all that kind of stuff. Hope you had a good meal. Forgot to say hi to you. All right. names, coward. Well, we're simply going over... Let me give you guys an outline. So today, we're simply going over the several online retailers accused of selling poached fish. Now, this does involve a Reddit post, but the reason why there aren't names in the title is because it's multiple businesses, and it's not really about that. It's about a bigger conversation about, well, what I hope to be kind of what's going on in the Discord. So we're gonna have to get into it. So all you people need to calm down, but we're gonna have a good time. So it does all start kind of on Reddit. Well, before we even get to the Reddit, what's up? How's it going? 186. What is up? New local Austin. How's it going? Fawn puppies. All right. And if you guys put a bunch of stuff in the pre-stream chat, I just tried to read it all, but honestly, I couldn't get through all of it, just because I'm trying to keep the stream rolling. So I didn't mean to not read all your messages, Louise. I'm trying to get into it. I was gonna do a slow intro and stuff, but since people are here so worked up, I guess I got to get on my job. I got to get to it. So let's get into this. Now, one of the things about the hobby that is really fun for some of us, like myself, and if you're not familiar, this is not an atypical stream. Any kind of weird niche thing that happens in the hobby that can even semi be considered like a news item, we talk about on stream all the time. So if you think this is like a personal, I'm just picking this one thing, we talk about stuff like this all the time. It's just kind of a thing that we do because we're all a bunch of, hobbyist nerds that got nothing better to do, right? But a lot of the times these things do kind of help think about bigger conversations. So I was on Reddit. I'm just going to look up Reddit Betta fish. Okay. So I was on Reddit, and if you look up BWA, you'll see this post shared to the Betta fish Reddit that comes from this subreddit, the Wild Betta Archive. All right. And the post is titled "A Notice from the Mods Regarding BWA." Now, if you're not familiar with BWA, okay, that stands for Blackwater Aquatics. Now, a lot of us on here are going to be familiar with Blackwater Aquatics because if you ask about where you should buy a betta, be it a wild type, I mean generally just a betta, this is the response I get. The answer I get the most, and centering this on where I am, I'm in the United States. I'm in the Baltimore, Maryland area. So if you're in the United States, it's a good chance, and you're into bettas, it's a good chance you've been recommended to go to Blackwater Aquatics at some point. They're a pretty popular retailer, got a pretty good reputation. If you look up Blackwater Aquatics on YouTube, they have a decent amount of just nice videos with some different information on bettas and stuff. And all this to say that it's just kind of a place. It's one of those. Everyone just kind of recommends them, and people like them. 186 says news, drama, callouts, and some knowledge now and again. What's up, Kopi? How's it going? All right. And again, to all the people from Ethical and all that, as hard as it is to believe, when it comes to my stream, it really is about having discussions and talking about things. This isn't as much of a drama stream as it seems. And I think you'll see how I go through it. It's tried to be made to be as little personal as possible, because really the whole benefit of talking about this has nothing to do with going through each individual person and who they are and stuff. It's more about all of us being on stream together and talking about the subject. All right. So I don't mind you guys rocking out in chat. Fish to Keeping said ordered from BWA once, not impressed. All right. What's up? Okay, so yeah, this is one of the places. Another place you might have been recommended, like Frank's Bettas. These are the kind of places that, if you're in the U.S. at least, you've probably been recommended at least once. All right. Now, so we come to this post. Now, I'm going to have to go back because this is the current version of this post. And I want to go to the original version of this post so I can actually go through this a bit more chronologically. Give me a moment. And if you're into wild bettas, and kind of what I was saying before about the hobby, if you're someone like me, one of the aspects of the hobby that's the most fun is breeding things for me, right? One of the things that is fun about breeding fish is a lot of the fish that I happen to be into happen to be, relatively threatened from different levels in the wild. So you kind of got this hobby that's fun, but at the same time, if you're really into breeding stuff, there is a conservationist angle to it. Now, when it comes to betta fish, wild bettas or licorice gourami and things like that, there's just such a large list of them that if you were to breed them, you could probably feel, happy with yourself that you're contributing to the preservation of species. And I think that's one reason why, when it comes to wild bettas, at least, there's a lot of passion around it, because this is a legitimate kind of conservation cause. It's like a lot of the people that are super into native wild live bears and stuff like that. There's just so many fish out there that if there weren't specific people that were super into them and passionate about preserving preserving the species, they might not really have as great of a chance as making it, right? But okay, so let's get into this post. I'll go off of this version for now. Fish to Keeping said, last overthinking I can think of was roseline barbs. Now they're pretty much strictly captive bred. Fish to Keeping said, I'd say 99% of endangered freshwater fish are endangered from overfishing. That is a decent part of this conversation I think we'll talk to. Kopi says, with wild bettas, it's a mixed bag. Yep, I can see that. 26 said, I love wild bettas, but I run my tanks with no lids. They're notoriously good jumpers. Yeah. Look, I'm into killifish, so I hear that a lot. I definitely hear that a lot when it comes to just lids being a limiting thing for people. Okay, so I'll go off this post off of its original form. I don't feel like searching through my screenshots while I'm live. My bad, I'm not organized. So, a notice from the mods regarding Blackwater Aquatics. Due to the repeated and blatant endorsement of poaching, the staff of Wild Betta Archive would like to make a statement against continued support of BW Aquatics. As of 3/1/2026, Blackwater Aquatics, and this is their allegations, not me stating it as a fact for anyone that's listening, I'm reading a post. Blackwater Aquatics imported wild-caught Betta Perisophone Johor. Again, I'm not going to pronounce everything correctly, my apologies. Betta Macrostoma Morardi, Betta Ocellata Malinau. I know that was terrible. And Betta SP Candy. See, I can do that. These are fish that are only found in legally protected localities. By advertising these fish as wild caught, they have admitted themselves that these fish are poached. We've contacted Blackwater Aquatics on multiple occasions in the past to inform them of the legality of this, to which they have responded but not changed their behavior. In continuing to work with these unethical suppliers and import these fish knowing full well the localities and wild-caught status, they're considered to be poachers themselves. Blackwater Aquatics postures itself as conservationists and an ethical source for wild bettas in the USA, so it's important to raise awareness of their hypocrisy. Continued discussion is valuable to spread word of this, especially outside the Wild Betta Archive, which is a subreddit. But please refrain from endorsing them as an ethical source. Within the Wild Betta Archive, we will begin to flag comments suggesting that buying from them as a breach of Rule 3, which is no poaching or unsustainable collection. And here we get some resources to a list of Malaysian protected areas, some peninsular Malaysia laws, State of Sabah Wildlife Conservation Act 1997, etc. So this is kind of like an isolated post in a smaller subreddit, which is why you kind of have this message here, like we need to spread this outside of the subreddit, which is what leads to some of the betta fish, the r/betta fish posts, which is a little bit bigger, right? Slightly bigger subreddit. And the post in there did get a decent amount of traction. Now, give me a second. I'm not seeing the one that got more traction. Let me just catch up with the comments real quick. Fish to Keeping said, what part isn't true? Fish to Keeping said, all those species are captive bred in Taiwan. Poaching are generally large cold water species like sturgeon that don't reproduce frequently. Cubby said, some species are endangered because of poaching, others habitat loss, others both. Mick says, not always true. Many species are endangered because rivers are getting polluted, dried out, overused by humans, and by human deforestation. Louis said, Mitch is 100% correct. Poaching is a regular thing, and with many tropical exports, happens often. And Platypus is asking Kopi for a link to something. All right. So let's stay in the Betta Archive. Now, the interesting thing about this is it really did move pretty fast. So I saw the post relatively early on, and I did actually comment. We'll go over my comments. I did have a comment asking some questions back and forth. But Blackwater Aquatics themselves happened to comment relatively fast in this. Now, if you're a business, I would say if someone makes a post about your business, maybe like a 6-hour minimum before you respond. You know what I mean? Like, I think this was probably not the best response. We're going to go over why. Because this is not about proving whether or not something happened, because I really don't have the ability to do that myself. Like Louise already said, I'm not really an expert in any of these fields, right? I'm just someone that can barely read, who's going through these Reddit threads. But I do think there are some things to learn here. And one of those things, I think from the company perspective, is I wouldn't comment on a Reddit thread this quickly. So the response from Blackwater Aquatics is here. So this happened 9 days ago, by the way. So I'm kind of late on this. I'm not going to lie. What's up, Jody? How's it going? So Anne from Blackwater Aquatics comes in and says, "Hi, this is Anne. I'm the person in charge of operations and taking care of the fish. It's come to my attention that some people are concerned about me having poached fish. I want to make something clear. My team and I have made it clear since day one that we do not want to do anything illegal." Oh, fantastic. "Because the consequences in the USA include heavy fines and possible jail time. We would never go out of our way to get fish that were poached because it's simply not worth it." Now, already in the first two sentences, there's a couple things here that I would say they're not red flags to me that Blackwater Aquatics is doing something wrong. Full disclosure, I did send Anne from Blackwater Aquatics a few questions back and forth. They're very nice answering them. I don't know if I necessarily got to the, conclusion that I felt I was looking for, but I don't think that's really on them. It's just, some things it's kind of seems like it's going to be hard to get to the bottom of, but I had a very positive conversation. But I will say that for this line here, like, we never go out of our way and all that kind of stuff, from what I've been seeing, it doesn't necessarily seem like you have to go out of your way to buy poached fish. It kind of seems like maybe there are circumstances where you kind of have to go out of your way to not buy poached fish. You know what I mean? Which is unfortunate. Louise said, "That's not true, being late to it at all. As soon as you stalled a Reddit thread, you started asking me questions." Wait, which part wasn't true? I meant being late to it as far as covering on stream. But I did ask Louise some questions. I did. For this specific situation, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know Johor was in Malaysia and not Indonesia. I know that sounds ignorant, but I am extremely busy. And so is everyone on my team. We do this as a side business, and it just happened to become popular. A lot of the descriptions my team and I write are based on information from sites like Seriously Fish. We just want to provide basic information for people to learn, and also for Google SEO purposes. Data Buffer, I didn't message Frank at all, so that's not me. Data Buffer said, "Are you why I had to explain to Frank that I had not accused him of poaching?" No. Oh my gosh, man. I know I be on the internet a lot, but okay. So third paragraph again. It's kind of like one of those things where I said maybe not the best response. Kopi said, "Yeah, that was a response to me. If they had any credibility, that response had messed up anything they had." So I don't think it was the best response. What's up, overtly overstocked Oscars? Because when you're kind of the person that's seen as being responsible, no matter how true it is that like you're overworked or whatever, especially in the moment when everyone's kind of upset, probably the worst thing you can do is say, "Look, I'm super busy, so it's hard for me to, blah, blah, blah." That's just confirming to people their suspicions that like you're not paying attention. Now, as someone that does struggle with keeping up with stuff quite a bit myself, I can definitely empathize, and I definitely understand where Anne is coming from. But this is one of those situations where it's not the right message, and it's definitely not the right audience. You know what I mean? Okay. So we do this as a side business. It just happened to become popular. A lot of my descriptions my team and I write are based on information from sites like Seriously Fish. We just want to provide basic information for people to learn and also for Google SEO purposes. When we first got these fish 4 years ago, we simply listed Johor and didn't think much of it. Recently, I used AI to help clean up my descriptions. Most likely, these fish are from Riau, but I'll be honest and say that we don't really know where the fish originally come from, since we don't control what happens in Indonesia. In fact, judging by how the fish sometimes look when they arrive, I believe many of the fish sold to us as quote unquote wild caught are probably captive bred, but I don't have any evidence to prove that. So we've run every paragraph. There's something that, if you're already upset with Blackwater Aquatics, you can find something to go off of, right? So for this one, you could say it's kind of negligence, right? This is the outdated description. We updated the descriptions with AI. Now, the unfortunate way they wrote this with AI is it made it seem like they're using AI. You could read it as they're using AI to identify the fish, right? Now, in reality, they made the name that was the listing the identity of the fish 4 years ago. So they didn't use the AI for that part. They use it for the description, right? But they're just kind of going along the fact that they're having a hard time keeping up with the information. They use Seriously Fish. They use AI to write the descriptions, and maybe they weren't looking at it as closely as they should have, which they do admit. So I have to give them credit for taking responsibility for that. But still, probably not going to help people feel any better about the situation. Overtly overstocked Oscar says using AI seems lazy. Now that's going to get to something that is probably difficult because, and this is one of the things that I personally was not happy with the situation. And we'll get to my conversation with copying them at some point. But the unfortunate thing is, specifically for things like AI descriptions, it's so widespread right now. In order for us to really kind of get on people about it, we're gonna have to talk about everyone. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, everyone's using AI descriptions, and a lot of the sites that people are getting their care information from the fish now, they're using AI to write the care guides and stuff for those too. So it is really unfortunate. And then the AI is probably ingesting some of those sites. So AI is summarizing AI to give you an AI description or care guide. Okay. The Nepenthes hobby knows this. The aquarium hobby needs this mindset too. The mindset being, too long to read. If you don't know the exact source, don't get the fish. In such situations, it's better to assume poached than not. Fathom Aquatics says there's a ton of retailers that put their fish names into AI and ask to write a detailed description because let's be real, most retailers don't know all 500 species and every bit of info. Yes. So there are some things here that for me it's hard for me to get them on them like specifically. But then at the same time I understand why you'd critique them uniquely for these things too. So it's hard for me to get on them uniquely about ordering off of a list and then not necessarily 100% knowing if they're getting what they're getting, or they're ordering something wild caught, but they get it and they suspect it's captive bred, because there's a lot of stores where they're just ordering fish off a list. They don't really see the fish beforehand. And you know what I mean? It kind of is what it is. So sourcing is kind of like a widespread thing. Some people are really, anal about it, and they make sure that they know who it is and they see their facility and all that, and others people's aren't. But the reason why you would uniquely critique Blackwater Aquatics for it is because one, they have a reputation for being someone that really cares about the bettas and their conservation and how to take care of them. So it's kind of like you wouldn't expect that level of care from a Petco. So you're not going to be as disappointed necessarily when they don't go through all the effort to make sure things are the way they're supposed to be. But when it's someone that you really feel like they put themselves out as the type of business or the type of person that would go through that stuff, is going to upset you a lot more. Justin Turr said, dude, what is this title? I was pretty accurate. It was accurate. Now, honestly, I'll happily edit the murders part out of the title if it's going to be too distracting. I didn't actually mean it is true, unfortunately. Like, there were multiple incidents of death threats and references to killing people that I came across, but honestly, I feel like we're gonna have a productive conversation, so I'm gonna just go ahead and edit that out. I'll edit the word murderers out just so we could actually talk about this. Okay, I'm not that invested in it. CC, please edit the title. It's unprofessional on your part. I think it's unprofessional for you guys to threaten to kill people and to dox people. This is a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? But for the benefit of the conversation, I've already edited it, so no problem. My impression from BWA is they import fish. They weren't confident in shipping, and fish arrived poorly packed. There was a huge region I couldn't keep up with descriptions at Dan's. Outside of doing everyone else's job, they take a lot of time. See, Soccerscape said, you guys have not done anything. Okay, calm down. I'm not saying you've done anything. Jacob said, what the F's going on? Guys, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Fish to Keep You said I clicked for the clickbait. Really? It's not clickbait, but I'm not interested in... Because I care about people listening to this back, if I spend too much time going back and forth with the chat, the replay crew are going to hate me. So I have to actually get through the topic too a little bit. All right. I do think it's interesting that they talk about here how they believe many of the fish sold as wild caught are probably captive bred, but I don't have any evidence to prove that. Because I've been seeing a couple posts like on Facebook where people are like complaining about folks lying about locations for wild caught because then they can charge more. So for people that import fish regularly, you let me know if that's something you've ever suspected. Okay, my team and I are adults with extremely busy lives. We have full-time jobs and families. I no longer have time for social media or YouTube like I did in the past. That also means I don't have the time to research the exact collection. I'm reading again Blackwater Aquatics response in the Reddit thread. I don't have time to research the exact collection locations of every species, except for very popular fish like Antuta. I know some of you are younger and have more time to research and be very specific about locations and details. I wish I could do that now, but I can't. The seller gives us a list of fish and we request from that list. We assume legality because we complete all required paperwork on our end with USFWS, the United States Fish and Wildlife Services. Fish to Keep You said location is easy, plus $5 for a species, with certain species being a lot more. Something Fishy Alaska said, I hate laughing at puns, so I laugh at that. Jacob said, if they're running a store, they should be researching everything about anything they're selling. No, listen, no one is running a store and researching everything about what they're selling. Like, it's just not happening. Now, this is an online retailer, probably, you know, bringing in a lot less fish than your average local fish store from what it seems, especially since it's mostly just betas and like a couple nanofish. But it's hard for me, like, when you say something, it sounds nice, like everyone running a store should be researching everything about anything they sell. I agree. I think that would be nice, but like that is not currently the case. So, you know what I mean? Now, again, this paragraph, like, everyone are adults with busy lives, so no one's going to really feel bad for you, unfortunately, when you say that. A lot of people have full-time jobs. The job market is kind of difficult right now. You know, saying you don't have time to research and things like that, and you're talking to a bunch of people that love to research the fish and do that in their free times, and you're making money off the fish, probably not going to go over well. But they are being honest. You know, the seller gives us a list of fish and we request fish from that list, and we assume it's legal because we complete all required paperwork on our end. It's honest, but it doesn't necessarily abate the concerns. Fathom says store owners get a general idea of what the fish is, but they're not going to be subject matter experts on every animal in their inventory. Louise said, you're wrong about retail stores. Good retail stores definitely research everything. Well, for a lot of people, their local store is going to be a Petco. I mean, I think the average, the place the most fish are sold from it does vary a lot, but the main standardized ones, you know, are Petco's and PetSmarts. Those are like the big chains, and they're definitely not researching everything they bring in. They bring in a very limited list anyway. JP Jeffries said the stream should have a trigger warning. When you specialize in a fish, though, well, that's why I said I think that's why the criticisms when it comes to Blackwater Aquatics are legitimate, because it is a fish that they quote unquote specialize in. You would kind of expect them to know a bit more. All right. Fish to Keeping said most stores are using a transshipper and are in direct communication with suppliers, and even if transshippers talk to suppliers about the species, you're rarely guaranteed to get a good answer. So one part of this I want to kind of go through is I love to talk about like who should be responsible for what, and kind of what Fish to Keeping is saying there. When you're talking about limited communication with the direct supplier, you know, one question is what are the tools that Blackwater Aquatics had to get this right, to make sure it was good, and then how like replicatable is that? You know what I mean? How many people are doing that? How many people aren't? Because I don't know how many are still in stock now, but at the time this post was up, I feel like there was a couple other places selling these exact same fish. So it's not like they're uniquely bringing the fish in. Mick said, over here in the EU, any seller have a lot of responsibilities regarding what they're selling. I did see that, Mick. Just to have a pet store in the EU, there's quite a lot of different requirements. Okay, just to finish off the response, most of the time I have is spent taking care of the fish in stock. Please remember that I don't just carry wild bettas. I have many other species as well. I'm extremely careful to ensure they are properly medicated and healthy. Also, these potentially poached fish do not make up a significant portion of my sales. And in fact, I would not mind stopping the import of any fish that may be potentially poached. Now, this is unfortunate because this paragraph could have been phrased in a way that could have helped Blackwater Aquatics a lot more. Because if they just simply said, oh my gosh, like, you know, I've made a mistake, I'm going to stop bringing these fish in, I think it would have come across a lot better than the rest of this. Like, a lot of this probably wasn't necessary. If they're already willing to, you know, stop bringing in the fish, and that seems to be one of the main, you know, issues, is the fact they brought in the fish in the first place. You know, I probably would have just responded like, hey, you know, we do our best, we missed the mark on this one, we're going to review our processes, and we're going to stop bringing these fish. But unfortunately, when you put like, oh, I don't have time, these fish don't make me any money anyway, it doesn't really come across, it doesn't really make people ingratiated to you the same way. Oh, what's up, Captain? I have to get back to work at the hospital, but hope you have a good stream. The plecos and loaches look good. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good time at work. Okay, Fish to Keeping says, the retailer's responsibility to do their due diligence. If you're not sure, omission works. Overly overstocked Oscar said, I can't keep the names of my plants. Okay, here we go. How is it going? What's up, Joy of Fish Keeping? Jose, how's it going? Cool. All right. Now, I'm not going to go over every single response in here, but there was another one that stood out. So there was one more big response that was like kind of in defense of Blackwater Aquatics that I thought was worth reading to see if they had any, you know, legitimate points. Hold up. It was a long comment, but it was collapsed. Guys, it was 80 degrees yesterday and snowing today. It's a good time. It is a good time. Oh, I do see here, this is the first mention of Franks. We'll see if anyone mentioned anyone else, but the Discord server I'm a part of discourages purchasing from BWA, Frakes, Prism Bettas, and the list continues to grow. No one is ethical anymore, and it sucks. This is something I kind of want to see. Is no one truly ethical? Is that really the issue? You know what I mean? That seems to be what the sentiment is. Sky said, "Oh wow, Nick is actually streaming, catching up from the beginning on double time. What's up? What's up?" Okay, here we see Frank responded in this thread. Frank said, "I don't even sell wild caught fish though, nor do I use wild fish to breed into hybrids. That would defeat the purpose of creating a line, as it would completely reset the line back to when they were bred away from. All my fish are captive bred and done so with already established captive stock for myself or other breeders. I don't even know the OP, so for him to assume that he knows how my breeding works is pretty crazy." Okay, so he's just responding, and Frank is responding in this thread to being mentioned as someone people shouldn't buy from due to not being ethical. All right. Okay. Blackwater Aquatics right here. Here we go. Big long comment. This one is kind of in favor of Blackwater Aquatics. You guys tell me what you think. This is a MK_0816. I'm pretty sure they made this account just to comment this because it was created March 4th, which I think was like the day this happened or sometime around there. So, you know what I mean. You guys use Reddit, you know. So, I have a couple problems with this. This is me reading the Reddit comment. One, this is not new at all. And I think BW Aquatics is one of the sellers in the US who is more transparent and not large scale of a trader of these fishes. So why make a move to target them specifically and now? Two, on a surface level without going in depth with the locals, there's no guarantee the fish are caught specifically in the areas that describe. A given locality name is not legal proof of poaching because it's not an official description of fishes and can be falsified. It might as well be a marketing term. Many collectors will intentionally make the locality vague to protect specific catch sites or withhold that information altogether, particularly in Indonesia. Such an example would be Ocelota Malinau, as you have listed. To go into further details, Marudi is a town in Sarawak. And again, guys, I know I can't pronounce everything. If you do type the phonetic spelling of something, I'll try and pronounce it that way. Just FYI, I don't mind. Sarawak does not prohibit the commercial declared export of B. macrostoma caught from non-regulated areas. Since macrostoma is not a prohibited species for export or controlled as a site species, and the resource that you linked proved that as well. Marudi as a town is not wholly covered by Gunung Mulu Park, where it would be legally questionable to harvest macrostoma. So you cannot prove that all macrostoma were legally caught from inside that park, because there are non-protected areas of the Baram River Basin in or near Marudi where there should be no catch restrictions. You'll see fish smuggled out of Brunei or caught in Muri on the wrong side of the border, listed intentionally as fishes from Marudi for that reason. Sarawak has no explicit bans on catching and exporting macrostoma outside of the protected areas of conservation. What you basically have claimed is that virtually all macrostoma importers in the U.S. have then imported illegally, including Cichlid Exchange, Wet Spot, the now retired TUIC, Aquatropic, Aqua Imports, and several small independent importers, which you cannot prove. What's up, Betta? How's it going? Cam Jam, what's up? What's up? For Ocelota, Malinau is a regency in Indo. You do not know if the locality refers to the regency as a whole, or specifically protected areas within the Malinau River Valley that is encompassed in a protected area. I did look into them more in the years past, but cannot remember the specific info regarding the Ocelota caught as fish from Malinau, but I can say for certain that the fishes exported under the label can be legally claimed as fish from there, since the area of potential catch location is broad and not restricted to a protected reserve. As for SB Candy, I have no idea where you got that information from, given they have enough morphological and meristic characteristics to differentiate them for what I assume you're comparing them to, B. Gladiator. I do not see how you could have gotten specific details on whether they could have been caught in protected areas. It is a well-established fact for any importer and hobbyist that collectors are notoriously tight-lipped on collection location to prevent other collectors from muscling in on their stock. They are caught somewhere in Indo, and it is impossible to say where specifically, legal or otherwise. I do not know of non-Unimaculata complex SB, so I'll leave that matter with Paris phone alone, as I do not want to make false claims in that regard. I will say, when asking people the most problematic betta fish, and since some of the betta experts are in the chat, you let me know, but it seems like the one that seems to be the least defendable when I talk to people seems to be this Paris phone one. That seems to be the one that's most questionable. But I think you mean well, but are not sure enough of the details to make such accusatory claims. The links you provide do not address any legal issues when catching and exporting the SPP in question themselves. I look forward to a reply, as I dearly like to get more clarification on the matter, given that I am only a hobbyist. All right. So this is the main big comment in the original thread, kind of providing a bit of a response to the accusation, essentially boiling down to some of the species you listed can be found outside of protected areas, so it's not necessarily true that they would be poached 100% of the time of them being sold. Now, I think one of the problems with this is the 100% thing, right? So, for instance, with the one betta, it seems like its range is a little bit smaller, right? So, if it was indeed wild caught, then the chances of it being poached seem extremely high, right? But on the other hand, what if the people sending the fish over were lying about their locations and stuff? You know what I mean? Then technically they wouldn't be poached, but they're being sold under the name of a location that they 100% would be poached from, which is something you know, basically you're left at a place of, I can't be sure that this is ethical at all, so I guess I cannot, shop at this business. Data Buffer, shout out Data Buffer in the chat, said, my information has been provided and run through and checked by conservation officers of Peloton, SWD, and SFD. None of the research is my own. I'm just the one who formatted. I trust their information far more than I trust anything put out by hobbyists and poachers. They visit and preserve the sites where these fish are caught. They breed these fish for reintroduction. They catch poachers in the act and send them to jail. They know a hell of a lot more than smugglers who think they have secret spots. You're the one out of your league here, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That part always makes me laugh. You're the one out of your league here, buddy. Oh, man. As for them being falsely labeled, the lying goes both ways. If they declare the fish from a poached locality, they're in legal trouble regardless if it was actually or not. If they backpedal and say they weren't really a poached locality, they could still be lying. And just to close, they don't even know the localities of their fish and rely on AI for IDs. Trust has been broken entirely. Nothing can be verified. Now, I have an issue. I don't think that Ann said at all they rely on fish for IDs. I do think that they did say they basically said we only know about the localities from what we've been told that they are, but we're not over there, we're not watching it, we can't be 100% sure the fish are what was sent to us as. Fish to keeping said B, Paraspone are captive bred in Indo. Maybe said I got Betta macronensis fry, my friends Maha spawned them. Nice. You spawned them yesterday and gave it to me. Awesome. Data Buffer said yes, but they're being sold as wild caught. Now, this is a question because Fish to Keeping brought up how the bettas are being captive bred in Indonesia. To me, and again, as people have already pointed out, I'm clearly not an expert in this, but some of them, to me, it would obviously be easier for the people in Indonesia to breed the betta fish and send them over and not buy them from someone poaching in Malaysia. That's just to me. I've only bred a couple wild bettas, but some of the ones on the list, it seems like they wouldn't have a problem breeding enough to sell over here. Now, this is where I think I do think that selling them labeled as wild caught is one of the big mistakes here, because when you're looking up even people selling the bettas from the same locations, I couldn't find anywhere else that was listing them as wild caught. Now, either this means that those people were smart enough not to list them as wild caught, even though they bought them as wild caught. Maybe they did buy them as not wild caught actually, or they did buy them as wild caught, but they kind of assumed that they were being sent fish that were actually bred over there and not actually wild caught. So they didn't list. I don't know which one it is, but I will say that most of the people that were selling these fish, when I looked at the listings, none of them put wild caught. And some of them I didn't see a wild caught or a captive bred. Fishing J said, I honestly don't know how. I don't get how wild caught is a selling point. Fish to Keep Me said, a lot of suppliers don't list captive bred or wild caught, so people guess. Okay, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, so that's one question there. Okay, the comment continues. If you actually read through the documents linked and didn't just keyword search, you would know why these fish are illegal to export. But whatever, for posterity, anything caught in those locations are illegal regardless of species. Oh, I just accidentally collapsed something. My bad. Okay. As for why now, because they just brought in more fish from poached localities on 3/1/2026 after we had no reason to believe they'll no longer do so. Okay. According to one of the officers, there's no ocelota in now Indonesia. Macrostorta imports all happened before the ban came down. Macrostortas only occur in protected locations. Which I've seen conflicting information on macrostoma only occurring in protected locations. I will say that. Which are protected specifically because there are macrostoma there. So yes, all wild macrostoma are caught. It shouldn't be difficult concepts of grass. Sometimes they're just animals you can't legally own. Okay. The ocelot thing is that the name is shared by a town and a river basin. The ocelot are found in the town. It's way out of their range, but the basin is protected. I see. Fish Keeping says several suppliers are breeding macrostomas with locations. Yeah, so right now, I think out of all the fish listed, macrostoma is probably the best example just because it's kind of pretty available right now. There's several stores local to me that have them in stock or have had them in stock recently. And there's several online stores that I've seen that have them. So here's one example that, oh, whoa, since I copy and pasted this list, it's been taken down. Okay, my bad. So for instance, check this out. Now this is probably, it could just be a dead link because it's a pre-order, so it may be meaningless, right? But I found this Aquarius across Canada, right? Pre-order Betta macrostoma, known as the Bruni Beauty, wild caught. This is one of the only ones I could say that said wild caught. Wild caught, 3 inches. And it's funny because it says 99 in stock. But I think this is like a pre-order or something like that. So that's one that I found, right? Then, of course, Wet Spot had them in stock pretty recently. They just say the Bruni Beauty Betta macrostoma, and they don't have a bunch of description information. They have an option for wild caught. When it was in stock, I think it was just tank raised, though, when I last checked. Now, what we have wild exotic bettas. This one says macrostoma Bruni, right? This is sold out. This is a sold out listing, so I don't know when this was last actually live. And we got a description here. But then they also had a listing that was on a link that was just macrostoma. And this one is Marudi. But the description mentions Bruni. So I don't know. It was kind of confusing to me. But you'll see this a lot. There's a couple of variations of what they say the location is and whether or not it's wild caught. Okay, let me catch up with the chat real quick. Oh, you type in what you hear. Okay. No, you're good. You're good. All right. Let's get back into it. Whew. You guys awake? You guys still good? All right. So far, what do we have so far? So far, we have a lot of information coming at us about wild bettas, some legalities and stuff. We have some dispute. Now, there was originally more bettas in this list. I think they did remove some that other people did comment were found in other locations and stuff. So I do think some of the bettas in this list, there's kind of questions, but it all comes down to what they're listed as for sale originally. So this now spills, this starts here and then it goes into the Betta fish subreddit, which is a lot bigger. And I'm trying to find the actual post that, okay, here it is. Perfect. So this one got up to, well, it's at 758 upvotes now. So a bit more noticed. this is the one where I started seeing people like share it around Discords and stuff a bit more. Start, if you're someone that's online a lot like me. Data Buffer says it was tank raised. Can confirm. Oh, which one was that? Yeah. Betta Alba Marginata. I think that one probably, from my experience keeping them, they're pretty easy to breed. So they posted in the Betta Fish subreddit. You see people are very like they're surprised or upset, which kind of shows that this is a place that's usually been recommended, right? This is one of the top comments. Yeah, I found their website recently and was shocked to see them advertising wild-caught bettas while also mentioning that they're extremely endangered. Why are you catching them to sell them then? This is important info for people in the hobby to know about, especially when someone's looking for an ethical breeder. Louis said wet spot where tank raised and there's no option for wild-caught. Data Buffer said albies are never poached. Then you see here, they even tried to claim in comments of OP that they might be captive bred, but they didn't know. What do you mean you don't know? Betta said, Alba Marginata is a wild betta I'm most interested in gaining. I've really loved having them. They're my favorite wild betta I've kept so far, or I keep so far, since I still have all the wild bettas I've been keeping. Okay. Now, the big drama here was the title, mods are deleting posts about Blackwater Aquatics. So there was kind of a back and forth about that. But it turned out it looked like it's just some kind of moderation mistake. You see this comment here. Don't take me this the wrong way, but this reflects pretty poorly on the subreddit. There should be an effort made for a master post of ethical source of the fish where applicable. If one post will suffice. I know for a fact there's a constant influx of people asking where to buy bettas, and people send them straight through to places like BWA, P&W, Prism, and Frank. All breeders, retailers, and conservationists do not endorse. So I'm pretty sure this is why Frank probably got in the mix, because Frank was mentioned multiple times on all these threads. All breeders and retailers and conservationists do not endorse and tell people to steer clear of. It reeks of affiliation. Please actually take this into consideration. When I first got myself into the hobby, this subreddit was my introductory. Many people end up here first. We should strive to make this truly informed, ethical, and safe for beginners. Then the head mod, man. The head mod comes in. Head mod. I'm hearing the suggestion loud and clear. I added to the to-do list as we revised the rest of the subreddit resources. We're extremely spread thin right now. 3 months ago, we only had 2 mods for a sub that frankly needs 8 to 10. We're getting better. The subreddit resources haven't been updated in nearly a decade. They're disorganized at best. We're working on writing everything from scratch. Okay, so r/betterfish getting an ethical sourcing list, apparently. Got you. Kofi brings up something interesting. Albies are fine. In fact, it's one of the situations where they're better off in captivity because of Indonesia's new capital. Some of these bettas, and this is where my confliction on it, because earlier, Fish to Keeping said basically what it was. He said like 99% of freshwater fish are endangered because of collecting. There are some fish or some of the bettas where if they were poached, part of me does kind of feel like, well, do they probably have a better chance of being bred and making it, if they're in one of those areas that happens to be being developed or something? That's definitely something that comes to mind. Or, is the poaching the problem? Is it going to make a difference? But that's honestly a question outside my pay grade. I just like to breed fish. Cam Jam is turning up on a Thursday night. Says, girl, the way you're moving got me in a trance. Parentheses, yeah. DJ, turn me up. Ladies, this your jam. Parentheses, come on. I'm sipping Moscato, and you gonna lose them pants. Holy. This comment said, really disappointing the mods are removing this. That's super sketchy. This is important info and benefits bettas. And here we get the description of the modding mistake. It was a modding mistake, not an intentional act to silence information. We often have instances of content being submitted multiple times by accident. And at first glance, it looked like that's what happened here too. The goal is to remove extra posts, not completely silence the message. We agree that the ethical breeding and conservation of bettas is necessary, etc., etc. This post brought to light that the subreddit would really benefit from having an update and more robust sourcing section in our resources. Fantastic. Guys, I gotta drink this coffee. I'm definitely fading out. I'm sorry. Yo, clink me, okay? 3, 2, 1, clink. Perfect. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Okay. So, kind of the unique part about this, right? So this is kind of where I stand on this, just to kind of give my opinion of where we've gone through so far. So my main thing with this post is, I think that I kind of wish this was turned into a broader discussion. At least in the initial days, it was a bit more focused on Blackwater Aquatics. Now, when I started looking into this and reading about it, it just seemed like more of a broader issue, right? So I think when it first came off to me, it kind of came off as just, we're going time by time to accuse a company of doing something. And there was a lot of mentions of Frank in random places I thought was really careless. And I think they edited a bunch of stuff from the original post I think was pretty carelessly put in there. So one thing that I take seriously, and why I didn't put any business names, I didn't put any Discord names and anything in the title of this video, is because I do think that you probably should be a bit more confident in some things before you do something that could significantly harm someone, you know, their life, their business, their mental health, whatever. You know what I mean? So I think there was a little bit here that I don't think was very well thought through. And in some of the other Betta Fish posts and some of the other places, you'll see some people go through that. Now, on the other side of things, and some of the people in the chat, so look, I apologize, I'm not trying to be mean, but the people that made this post have a really horrendous reputation. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm just being honest, okay? The people that made this post had a really horrendous reputation, so it's kind of hard to, like, go through stuff because everyone's like, oh, yeah, those people, they're the worst. They accuse this person of this falsely. They accuse this person of this falsely. But, you know, I'm trying to resist the urge to get too much into drama stuff because that really doesn't matter. But I'm just keeping it 100. Like, the word universally, when I was like, oh, do you know anything about it? It was basically like, yeah, these people are terrible. Like, they're always accusing people of stuff. Oh, this is this person they doxed. Here's 4 examples of them threatening people. They fantasize about killing poachers and claim they kill poachers and yada, yada, yada. So, like, then there's the aspect of the fact that, the aspect of the fact that some of them say that they're, and when I say some of them, I'm making these generalizations, I'm just talking about Reddit posts, Reddit comments, commenters. So some of the commenters, okay, here we go. So for instance, it says Kopi, I think Kopi's in the chat. And then another person here says this person says, hi, Saba Wildlife Department officer here, right? And the data buffer says here, Kopi is a conservation officer with Pilatan. Now, the reason why this makes things a little bit more complicated is because whenever I look at something like this, it's hard not to feel like there's conflicts of interest, right? Like if I was speeding, I got a speeding ticket, and like the police officer made a Reddit post about like, you know, Nicholas Makel, like he is the worst speeder in the entire country. Like he is right now speeding 80 miles on the freeway. You probably say to him like, bro, go pull him over, give him a ticket. Like, why are you making a Reddit post about this? So I think like the weird part about this initially for me was, one, it just, some of the first version of the post kind of seemed to have some things wrong with it. Then 2, as I'm kind of looking around, the people just seem to kind of be, you know, a little bit unhinged. And then 3, some of them claiming to be wildlife department officers and stuff like that. And it just kind of seemed like if that were the case, it was the case there's some poacher stuff, it kind of seemed like there'd be some more official action you could take, and instead of, you know, accusing this business XYZ, like maybe you could show us like a fine, you know, or a warrant for arrest. I don't know, just literally anything besides this. So let's get into what I commented on here, just so you can see what I commented. What's up, Big Steve? How's it going? See, I can't even find my comments. I'm hoping that the coffee wakes me up, man, because I'm not on top of my game right now. I'm literally gonna search now. If you guys know, like, I be commenting on my In My Takes Reddit account, like it's just my personal. At some point, I just decided, like, I'm literally just gonna treat this Reddit account like it's just my personal account, cause like whatever, like I'm just gonna be myself. So unfortunately, like, you can just kind of get a whole insight into my entire life. Let me see. Okay, here's my comments. Poachers hate poacher hunters. Yeah, I'm sure. So here's why I commented in the original thread. Fish to Keepy said, find their source and look at what they're being imported as. Cuppy said, the guy who corrected data buffer's post is himself a conservationist, one of my colleagues, actually. There you go. That's what's up. They attempted working with BWA to backtrack their suppliers and arrest the poachers. So here's another thing that, and again, this is just how I think, right? In this original post, they said that they had contacted BWA multiple occasions. Now, my recollection in the original post is that they did not mention whether BWA had responded or not. But now in this post, or maybe I'm remembering correctly, they say, we've contacted BWA on multiple occasions to inform them of the legality of this, which they have responded but not changed their behavior. All right? So, to the platypus, have they attempted working with BWA to backtrack their suppliers and arrest these poachers? Unfortunately, with how this is written, it's really impossible to know exactly what these communications are like, because quite honestly, it could have, depending on how they emailed BWA, depending on how BWA responded, is really going to make a big difference to if I feel like them not changing their behavior was something that makes me see them poorly. Because if they emailed them on some super rude, aggressive stuff and it was kind of out of pocket, I could see the conversation not being that productive. Which, when I did eventually go into the Discord and talk to them, that was the main thing I was discussing, was just I felt like the approach probably was not going to lead to collaboration, in my opinion. That's incredibly classified stuff you're asking. I told you multiple times there. Well, I did say it was your first course of action. But don't worry, we're getting into the red thread. All right. There's nothing we can do much legally, as the fish are not sites. Well, I think the main thing would be, I'm assuming that you guys are located in the country the fish are being poached in. So I think the main thing would be, can you locate the people actually poaching the fish, would probably be what my question is. Lena Australia said they've been telling, yep, I did see that they've been telling BW to stop using their fly-by-night exporters since November. Yes, I did hear about that. Which is another thing. I'm kind of going out of order chronologically. So it is true, like, this post is the result of something that has been brewing for months and months and months, right? But as far as us, just normal people reading or whatever, this is the first, to us, this is the first thing. So that's why I'm starting with it, right? So this is what I commented. I said, I'm just trying to understand, because the links and text from the main post all seem to refer to locations being protected and not specific species. I'm also seeing you removed a species from the list because apparently someone commented that they could be found in a non-protected area. So I'm just trying to follow exactly what it is. Is there a direct link to the list of legally protected Betta species you could share? Can you show us an example of what a correct corresponding permit looks like, or any way we could actually research something like this ourselves? Now, my main question here is, I legitimately did not know. I didn't know if it was the location protected or the species themselves. You know what I mean? Like, that was a big question I had. Still kind of seems like it's mostly just you can't catch anything from this location, because some of the species, like, they're caught somewhere else. So technically, so it does seem to be more location based than species based, at least from what I was reading. Camgen said, I did get a bitch fired because she was abusing children. No regrets. Cam, why you just be like, you're just be admitting to things in the chat, but that's what's up. Good to you. What's up, Ross Baltimore? Yep, Data Betta. So yeah, thank you for that. Data Buffer said, I edited it in after you took issue with it. The original wording was we emailed a markup opinion. I appreciate that. I do think that helps. So they responded very helpfully with the links to some different laws. So let's take a look at that. I'm not going to read the entire document, but let me see if I can. So we have forestry and conservation laws and classes in Malaysia. So there's some locations. And this is the actual act that we have here. The Wild Conservation Enactment of 1997. And let me see if I can get to mine here. So in this enactment, unless context otherwise required, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Yep. I'm going to link this in the chat, by the way. 1 second, my bad. If you guys feel like going through. So here we actually see where their jobs are created. The Sabah Wildlife Department. There shall be a director of wildlife and such other officers appointed by the State Public Service Commission as shall be considered necessary for the proper carrying out of the provisions of this enactment. This enactment shall be administered by the director and shall be enforced by wildlife officers and other officers subject to the directions of the director. The director shall be generally responsible for carrying into effect the provisions of this enactment, and in particular, but without derogating from the generality of this provision, his duties and functions shall include advising to the minister on the formulation of conservation and management policies for wildlife and wildlife habitats, advising the minister on the establishment of wildlife sanctuaries, conservation areas, and wildlife hunting areas, the implementation and administration of international conventions relating to wildlife or its habitats to which Malaysia has acceded on behalf of the state, and the meeting of other international bilateral obligations which are binding on the state. And D, these are all lettered, my apologies. D, the resolution of any dispute arising from the establishment of wildlife sanctuary, a conservation area, or a wildlife hunting area under this enactment, and the negotiation of appropriate compensation where applicable. And E, the administration of protected areas established under this enactment, including the preparation and implementation of management plans. It goes all the way. It goes all the way to N. And N is the establishment of an administration of zoological gardens. So please, I put the link to that in the chat. I'll pin it. Check that out if you want to read through some enactments. Yo, the platypus. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, some links there. Let's see. Did I comment anything else? Okay. Yep. Poaching laws are publicly available information. Conduct your own research. So we got another link to another law form. Ross said, I need 100 plus gallons now. It's officially a bachelor's flat in here, about to be full of aquariums. Oh my God. All right. I'm looking at another one. This is the Wildlife Ordinance of Wildlife Protection Ordinance in 1998. All right. Let me not read legal documents for 3 hours on stream, though. But I just want to make sure I link those to you guys. And see. All right. So I asked, can we check if the company has proper permits or not? What did you use to confirm if they do not have proper permits? Dabuffer says, as an individual, you cannot assume any fish for commercial sale exported from Malaysia or Brunei is poached. If you have concerns, you can contact the relevant forestry department to verify the fish are poached, or obtain legally or request proof of legal acquisition from the company themselves. Jesse said, we love a fish version of Emily D. Baker. Yeah. Not quite. I do have no legal training, man. I have no legal training. Now, this led to me getting I got a DM request. This comment exchange. Let me pull that up. 1 second. Do I even have it anymore? Guys, I'm absolutely... the reason why I hadn't done the stream so long is because, like, every day I was like, man, do I have the energy Do I have the energy to do this? And I thought today I did. Then I get on stream. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm just feeling bummed. I've been bummed out. I'm super bummed out. So I'm still just kind of. I'm feeling down. It's not as easy to get on here and just like get into the bullshit immediately when I'm kind of like, man, should I just shoot myself? Oh man. All right. So Frank Bettas. That's where I need to go. We go into the other thread because Frank did get mentioned a few times, so I did want to go over that. So Frank came here in this thread, the original thread. It's like, weird how scrolling through the thread, somehow my name were mentioned in their comments. Throwing assumptions of me poaching my fish and hybridizing them is a crazy accusation. For your information, all my fish are captive bred. It's far more convenient and better quality than using caught fish from the wild. I never used caught fish in my line of work unless it was for conservation, breeding, for release, or relocating. There are thousands of already established captive bred fish that breeders nowadays can use to mix with their fish to make new lines. It would totally ruin an established line of fish if you were to use wild caught fish to breed into your lines. Okay, Data Buffer, you're all up in these threads, man. I didn't even realize it was you every time. I'm sorry. I'm like, man. Okay, scrolling through, I'm not seeing a single comment claiming that your fish are poached. I don't know where you're seeing that. Okay, then we got a link. Well, I mean, there's a lot of comments saying that he's unethical. And why would it be unethical to? Yeah, I feel like the implication of him doing poached bettas at some point is there. But luckily for me, I finally remembered to open up my folder that I made for this stream, so we can see a little bit of explanation of what this is about. So, in response to someone accusing Frank of poaching bettas, basically, someone said that he did bring in bettas a few years ago with someone else. This top comment says, apologies, that info may be old by now. It was definitely something that was happening a few years ago. So definitely you were bringing in poached bettas a few years ago. And Frank said, she did import with me years and years ago. Never sent her wild caught, or do I don't even sell wild caught ever. Have never worked together since. All my fish are captive bred. There's absolutely zero reason to use wild caught to mix hybridized fish. It would defeat the purpose of having an established line for that type, because it would reset the quality and line. And Data Buffers here again said, I went digging. I think your shipment to PNW may have been mixed up with Prism's ongoing imports. So this is another example of like why these kind of things I think are a little bit unfair, because clearly there has Data Buffer said no one's accusing you of poaching, but clearly someone did mix up saying that he did a shipment when it was someone else that they were thinking of. So that's kind of the danger of these kind of things, right? But it is what it is. Camgen said, why are you bummed you guys all behind you? If you feel pressure to stream, I'm sorry. No, I love streaming with you guys. That's like the one positive thing in my life. Besides Jessica, of course. When I get my macrostoma pair, can I keep them in a swap tank? Oh my god. The Data Buffer, the goat, I don't care. Shout out Data Buffer. Got the goat in the chat. I don't know, man. I'm just showing you the comments the guy was concerned about. Ask him. I did. Yes, I know, but you're lecturing me about... I just think you do come across as just very abrasive. Now, God, the problem is, I got a DM. I'm trying to find the DM, but I don't see it. Then also, I was invited to the Discord. I talked to some of these people in question in the Discord, so I wanted to show that. But they banned me from the Discord. So like, bro, it's I have to make sure that I actually have screenshots of this, bro. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Give me 1 second. Now, we're going to the Discord part of it now, okay? God, we're going to the Discord part of it. But what do you guys think so far, honestly? Like, we kind of gone through a bit of the just because you're so full of shit. You kind of gone through the initial post claims, right? We've gone through a little bit of the background, a little bit of what's going on, a little bit of the context of who's making the accusations. What do you guys think so far? I feel like my main takeaways are this. I'll do my pro and con for Blackwater Aquatics, okay? I'll do my pro side and my con side. So my pro side for Blackwater Aquatics is I think that they seem to be pretty nice people. I don't know them personally, but I had very good interactions with them. So personally, they seem fine. That's one pro for them. I don't think they're evil people that are trying to poach stuff. They seem like they do care about Betta fish a lot. Okay, con side, right? I do think their response was really bad. Really bad in the sense that, like, it had no hope of improving the situation, right? You can't talk about... The worst thing you could possibly do is say, these fish don't even make me that much money. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of makes people feel like, yeah, you really don't care about these particular fish. That was bad. Okay. On the pro side, I'm going to do the spin for them. On the pro side, it seems like they're going to stop bringing in these fish. So that's the change side. Now, on the opposite side, apparently they're asking them to stop bringing those fish this whole time. So, like, you know what I mean? They made a post. Now the fish are going away. God damn. Okay, let me go back to the pro side. Okay, pro Blackwater Aquatics side. It's not a situation that's necessarily super unique to them. Okay? Not necessarily super unique to them. They don't have a ton of control, and they were being honest about the fact that they're really busy. They're ordering from a list. A lot of places look at a list of fish and they order from a list. Now, the other side of that is you're a Betta specific place. We would expect you to do research. You kind of come across as you're one of the ethical recommendations. You expect you to do research, but I do respect that Blackwater Aquatics was being honest about things, even though that did not make them look any better. Okay, it didn't make them look any better in the context of the post, but I do think that they seem to be being honest. Platypus said they waited till it affected them financially to make a change. Camjan said people are sensitive nowadays. Catgirl said, yeah, horrible apology. Jacob said, it seemed like they're being too defensive, but at the end of the day, they probably had no control. Catgirl said, this sounds very complicated. My head hurts. When's the next Pretty Fish stream? Next stream will be lighthearted. BWA has been good to work with in my experience, but they should have stopped selling the fish they were told were poached when they couldn't prove otherwise. I think that's fair. Steve said, catch me up. I was working. Which species are being poached? Macrostoma. The specific species were the wild-caught Betta paraphone, quotations, Johor, Betta macrostoma marudi, Betta ocellata malinau, and Betta SB candy. Now, SB candy, I'm going to be honest. If we go through each one, right? This one, the Betta's paraphone, I think this is the most questionable one. Now, they did update the location, so they said the Johor was an old location that shouldn't have been on the listing. They did actually take that off. Okay, I don't know if that improves things. This is the most questionable one. The Betta macrostoma, from what I've read, it seems possible that they could. It seems possible they could have been caught outside of protected area. It's technically possible. I don't know anything about ocellata. SB candy is not even a described species, so like I could definitely see them selling something as SP candy that is like the similar Betta, or you know what I mean? Like I do think there's some ambiguity there. Luis said, you as the importer are total control of what comes into the country when you work with reputable exporters. Barely any of this is an issue. Dwarf Cyclidiot said, next stream will be featuring a guest, Discus North. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Yo, Discus North wants to come on the stream. He can come on the stream, but I can't talk to Discus North alone. He scares me. I need a third person. I need a third person to keep him from assimilating me. Louise said, poachers don't make money poaching. The exporter makes money and the receiver makes even more. They took 4 years to do so. That's in reference to updating the location of the thing. Data Buffer said, purse phone. Thank you. God, I needed that. Purse phone. All right. So Big Steve just answered your question. Those are the 4 species in question being said to be poached. Now, if I look up this right now, is anyone else selling these? I don't think so. Yeah, that seems to be the most critical one. Now, where was I? I was about to go somewhere else, kind of. Oh, the Discord conversation. That's what I was trying to go to. I was trying to go to the Discord conversation. So, quite honestly, I don't know. Do I have the freaking screenshots of that even? I don't know if I even screenshot all that. I'm supposed to be the screenshot person. You know what I mean? But here I am just absolutely failing at my job. I'll talk with him. I've had a few back and forths. I think I can mitigate any swamp hostility. Oh my god. Fish to Keep Me said, Louise, exports mislabel everything. If you went by a list, P. Luminatus would be rarer than P. Bells. Your pronunciation of purse phone is my favorite part of the stream. Thank you. That's where I really do feel like I hear. Here's the thing with Louise, right? Louise is someone that seems to be very on top of things and stuff. Like, you're an importer, total control. And we all remember the anti-basement operation on the Mexicali stream with Louise. So we're coming from someone that does a very high standard, but like I just don't think many people meet that. You know what I mean? Which is what she seems to be saying is part of the issue. You know what I mean? But then with Fish to Keep being said, it does seem to be very true. Like, people send you the wrong stuff all the time. A lot of times I'll go to stores, they said that they ordered something and they got this instead, or, you know, they had to get a substitute. I don't know. A lot of stuff goes on. Couple Fish said Persephone. Oh my god, I got Persephone. I got Persephone, like the goddess of the underworld. Oh yeah, that I'm that educated. Kanchan said you need it. Who knows what's up. Maven said, thank you, Couple of Fish. I said that earlier, but no one listened. Topapa said, Louise is a step above even a decent LFS IMO. No, I was making fun of how you said it. Oh my god, bro. Not even helping me out. What kind of conservationist are you? Persephone? Okay. Literally aiming for the goddess. There's a lot of goddesses out there, especially these days. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Okay. Now, this goes everywhere really fast. This is like on Reddit, right? But you'll see stuff on Facebook just randomly. Like, within a couple days, you'll see stuff on Facebook. And I didn't do a cross-reference to be like, oh, is this person on Facebook like the same person that's, you know, on the Reddit or whatever? But, like, I saw a comment here, like, we got Blackwater Aquatics mentioned on some Reddit thread. And it's just like, just to throw out there, there's talk of them being poachers, overfishing the wild caught animals for the pet trade for financial gain at the expense of natural order. Do you guys think it's fair? This is an honest question. Say you just looked at the list, didn't do any research, ordered the fish off the list. They come in, blah, blah. Someone poached them in Malaysia, shipped them to Indonesia. They shipped them to Blackwater Aquatics. Like, is it fair to call Blackwater Aquatics, like, they're the poachers over? Like, I just feel like you could say they're selling poached fish. I hate when I see people say, like, they're poaching. I don't believe that they intentionally bought poached fish. I really don't. Now, the response to that is we were telling them they were poached fish and all that and that kind of thing. But, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe it. Something Fish Alaska said, like Stephanie, but Persephone. Okay. Kobe said conservationists have another name for SP candy. Louise said shitty exporters equal shitty list equal lower prices equal idiots that buy crap. It's Persef, like Steph, without the T, Oni. Persephone. Whoa. That actually came out of my mouth smooth. Pause. Persephone. LMAO, didn't you learn Greek / Roman mythology from Latin class? That was a long time ago. Salve, amici. Amo amasa mamu samanti samant. When Sam and say. Yeah, we're just gonna stop there. Oh my gosh. Fish to Keep, said ordering from lists versus having suppliers intentionally mislabel fish to get them through customs is a huge difference. That's a good point. Mick asked Louise, what is the law saying if the wholesaler / transshipper shipped the wrong fish? Or you as an importer ordered to kill all fish you can't ID is correct according to purchase list / order. Okay. Maven said, okay. Let me move on. Let me get back to the chat in a second. I gotta get, I gotta get to the freaking thing, man. I'm sorry. I'm doing a terrible streaming job today, guys. I'm so sorry. Why'd you guys have to kick me from the Discord, bro? I could have just scrolled up and had my whole chat log there. Well, I'll just, from memory, I'll kind of go through. So I got a DM to go into the Discord to talk to some of the folks that are in the chat. So I'm sure they'll be able to correct me on anything I'm misremembering. I got a DM to go into the Discord. And legitimately, you know, I went there. I didn't necessarily join to like look around or anything. I did find the Discord and join it, I think before they asked me to talk to them, but I hadn't like actually done anything in it. But I was like, oh shit, they want to talk to me in Discord. So I went to the Discord. They sent me a few messages and we kind of went back and forth. And basically my thing was kind of what I've said on stream already. Like I took issue with what I thought were inaccurate statements in the post. I thought should be edited, and they did edit some of those. And they basically just were hostile. That's kind of like I don't think they really felt like I was there to have an actual conversation, which is fine. And it came to a point where I was like, well, I feel like I kind of said what I needed to say, so you know, I was just gonna leave it there, and then I was banned from the server. You know, so that's kind of the whole my experience in the Discord. Now, this is kind of where we get to like some of the dramas, so just bear with me, all right? So, I talked about how some of the people, they have a terrible reputation, right? So if you're familiar with like the Fish Wiki Discord, it's one of the bigger fish Discords. Like some of the individuals involved in this, they're banned from there. And there's a lot of beef, multi-Discord beefs going on. Like once you're in enough of them, it's like they'll talk shit about each other in one Discord where they know the other person's banned from that person. Everyone's posting screenshots from everything everywhere. Like when you see a screenshot from a Discord, you'll be like, someone's probably gonna be like, oh, I know where he got that from. I guarantee you don't, because literally there's like 10 different people that are screenshotting this, right? But essentially what I actually saw myself was there was someone in a Discord arguing with them, disagreeing, and the response to that was to respond with that person's full legal name, not their Discord name, and threaten to kill them if they ever came to Malaysia. I saw this with my own eyes, like, so that's part of where the murderous thing came into. And you know, this is someone that doesn't live in Malaysia, someone in the US, so not someone actually poaching anything. Now on top of that, they announced that they're investigating them for poaching. Now this is where we get into the part about them being government employees being kind of awkward, and also kind of make some of this behavior more problematic. Ross said, don't threaten me with a good time, hilarious. Not changing their behavior once race their attention is knowingly bringing in poached fish. Kopi said, Mick, the fish that are poached aren't exported from Malaysia. Rather, there's poachers who poach the fish, then smuggle them across the border to Indonesia, where they get exported. Okay. We brought this up about supporting a poacher equals being a poacher. Wait. Does it not equal being a poacher? This is a big misconception. Sorry. I have a hard time reading sometimes. I need receipt screenshots. Give me 1 second. So, this is a message regarding the incident. This is someone like messaging an admin about the behavior, right? This message says, I should let you know exactly why this concerns me. You have a colleague. I picked this one because it kind of summarizes my own concerns or things I'd be, maybe not the best. You have a colleague claiming to be a government official participating in an active investigation against a member for poaching. And then I was thinking about that. Why would a government official announce they're investigating someone for poaching on Discord? And why the hell would they dox someone like that? So essentially, if you're a government employee, it would be kind of ridiculous, unprofessional, and probably just weird to announce on Discord that you've now opened an investigation against someone else on Discord. I mean, regardless of whether or not that person is guilty of whatever, yeah, announcing on Discord is probably kind of a strange thing to do as an official action, right? Now, why would they dox someone like that? So they also included the person's real name. Now, the act of just casually using someone's real name when you're talking to them in Discord, and we actually have to be honest about this. And I see Kopi said that was a misconception. The list that was mentioned is not a kill list, just a watch list. Listen, just by using someone's real name you're having a conversation online. Like, if I were to right now pick out someone in chat and just say their real name, if we never talked, they never told me their real name, to me, that would be a threatening action. That is just something that I think is not, it's not the most serious thing, but when you combine it with all the other things said, yeah, it is kind of weird to dox someone like that and just try and let them know their real name in a way that does come across as very threatening. I do think that is pretty bad behavior. 1 second. Okay, you have a long history of falsely claiming people are poachers. So this case is exactly in line with what is usual with you. You and CC are extremely fucking weird about this, refusing to talk about it, shutting down any conversation. For someone not guilty, you sure are acting like a lot to hide. Okay. You also talk openly about how your girlfriend headhunts poachers and claim it's legal because they're a Dayak tribe. Yeah, I'm real interested in all this. I have screenshots of all these things. You can delete this, time me out, whatever you need to do to shut me up, but just know I know what's going on. So this is like the level of, associated drama that comes from. I see you said fish people are so serious, bro. It does get a little bit serious sometimes. You know what I mean? It does get a little bit serious. Holy. Now, I'm trying to pull up the screenshot. Now, I only have a screenshot of the edited message. So I don't have a screenshot of the message where it was a bit more threatening. I'm just trying to remove the name of the person so I'm not, participating in, you know what I mean? I'm gonna complain about doxing and then just like include the person's real name in here. It would kind of be silly, right? Let's give me 1 second while I just gotta cut that part out. Just gotta, yeah. I'll cut the Discord name out too since I have the technology. All right, so here's the message, but unfortunately, it's edited out the part that has to do with maybe what some would perceive as a threat. So the X'd out box here is the person's real name, right? So the person's real name, just a bit of advice: provide your source or quit talking out of your ass, as you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can tell you as someone who routinely works with these fish that no, they do not normally occur outside of the protected areas. Yes, you get the odd straggler, but it's not nearly enough that I would say they normally occur outside the protected locality. So here it's kind of funny. A lot of times they do this where they like say something and contradict themselves. Like they don't normally occur outside protected areas, but you do get the odd straggler. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of my whole thing with the first post is like they say 100% of the time they occur in the protected areas with a lot of these fish. For me, the fact that they do seem to admit they occur outside sometimes, that's where it kind of makes it hard for me to be like, okay, 100% is high. To quote a colleague, learn to listen to primary sources and maybe you won't remain stupid. Okay, there you go. The message is in. The message is in. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. George Cyclidia said, this is why I don't spend time on Discord anymore. Someone always gets doxxed. Mick, can you copy your... I missed the message. Louis said, thank you, Mick. That's exactly how poached fish get moved around. Can you copy that message again? Kobe said, the active investigation bit was asked by the admin of Aquarium Community Server to put that announcement out. Mick said, yeah, it's one heck of a thing to put all the blame on a buyer in another country. I think if we're going back to the pro and con on BW Aquatics thing, to me, that's kind of like my feeling. Like, okay, for me personally, for me to never buy from them again, I would need to feel like they were doing something uniquely bad. You know what I mean? Now, I've actually never bought anything from Blackwater Aquatics, so never buy from them again. I guess for me to never consider buying them, because there are stores near me that I don't like the way that necessarily they care for certain fish, but like at the end of the day, I got to go to the store and buy some fish. Like I'm gonna go there. You know, for me to never shop there again, it kind of be kind of a high bar. You know what I mean? Data Buffer said, with Blackwater Aquatics, if you were buying a car and someone told you they sell stolen cars, would you buy your next car from them? This is issue of BWA. They were told the fish were poached, and they kept buying. I would love for you to send me the emails you sent to them. That'll kind of be useful. We said, you may as well give up, Data. It's pointless explaining the truth. I'm out of this. Better stuff to do with time. Bye, chat. God damn, Luis is angry. Scotty says, I'm caught up. What do you think, Scotty? What do you think? What do you think? Okay. Question is, shall we nerds/breeders outside Asia kill the unknown imported fish or breed them and inform the countries involved? Mick asks. Interesting question, Mick. Interesting question. Scotty, all you want to do is talk to you about killifish. Kopi said, in my tanks, that guy accusing me of calling people poachers comes on a whole saying, people support poachers equals calling someone poacher. I've called out people for supporting poachers, but not poaching. Okay. Is it possible that the fish isn't actually poached and they're just labeled as wild caught to make money? I think that is a possibility. I think the real issue is, you know, a lot of possibility. By the way, yo, Kopi, if you want to hop on Discord, just let me know, man. Let me know, any of you. I'll be honest, my brain is so cooked. I probably need someone else to hop on stream for me to even make it. So let me know. I don't even know. Are we a mutual in a Discord anywhere? I don't even know. This guy said, how do we talk about the upcoming ASCM meeting? Oh, there's going to be a great meeting this Sunday. We're doing a fish trivia. Fish trivia this Sunday at 1 p.m. Yeah, Aquarius Society of Central Maryland. Tap in. Come on. But I got to be honest, Scotty. Your list of topics that you want me to talk about on stream, Like, I've talked about killifish kind of recently. I'm terrible at building. Like, I don't have any auto water change systems. I can't really talk about that. You know what I mean? Nick said, if the country can't protect their fish, being poached, is it upon other countries to be the one to stop it? Perhaps breeders abroad will save the species, like with livebearers from Mexico, Nick said. Okay. Camgen said, I love baby axolotls. I'm not ready to keep them, but someday. Someday. Holy. Deadabove said, you don't know how to pronounce the areas these fish are caught from. Why do you think you can comment on... Well, I did start by saying I'm not an expert in any of these and that I can't pronounce where they came from. So, yeah. I made it very clear the level of commentary I could provide at the start, right? Steve said, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, poaching is bad, but they need to be in the hobby as well. Maven said, in my opinion, it's everyone's responsibility to help stop the poaching of protected animals. Let me finish. Dad above said, you don't know how to pronounce the areas these fish are caught from. Why do you think you comment on where they are and aren't found over people who live there and work with fish? Well, unfortunately, I do have the ability to speak and read and have an opinion. So I'm on here just talking, discussing, and saying opinions. Could be wrong, could be right. You know what I mean? George Secluded said, I will say it seems way more work to poach most betta species than just to breed them. Most are so prolific. Well, that's why I thought macrostoma was kind of an interesting example, because the macrostoma came into stock at BWA at the same time as a lot of other places. You know what I mean? So I'd really be curious as to finding out if there is anyone else that use the same supplier, because it just doesn't seem like getting macrostoma. Like, why would you need to go to a wild poacher? It just seems like there are a lot of sources. I don't know. Pond Puppy says, sign me up for the next Fins and Fury. I want father fish. You're gonna fight father fish, Pond Puppies? Okay. The platypus said we can reintroduce them. Nick said it's on both parts, but the main job must be done by the country where the fish comes from, in my opinion. Okay. The platypus said you can reintroduce fish that were poached and sent to the U.S. and bred by some random hobbyist. Probably not. At least the reintroduction programs I know of, and which I assume is very limited in the United States, I know that they have like specific programs where people are breeding for the purpose of reintroducing them. So I don't know. But then again, if they're nowhere else, maybe they would take it. I have no idea. It's also kind of different because it's a whole other country, you know. Kind of makes more sense that there would be someone over there doing that work. Data Buffer says, as long as we can ID the locality, which is usually possible from a full profile. Okay, maybe you can. Kobe said, we do poacher interception work, but only a small team. We can't catch anyone. Bro, Data Buffer or Kobe, any of those people in the chat that want to hop on Discord, just let me know. Let me know. I've kind of gone through my reading of the posts and all that kind of stuff. So now we're at a place where I can just engage. The platypus said, interesting. Yeah. I would kind of think you would need, I mean, do you have to test the fish for different kind of like, I don't know, diseases or whatnot? I know there's some, isn't like goldfish that got to be tested for that kind of stuff when they come in or something like that? The data buffer said, I have captive fish I'm breeding for reintroduction. Oh, that's cool. Mick said, my friend kept killies collected decades ago. Creeks in Africa was erased by local people. Just one example. George Seclidia said, anyone have non-poached fish for sale? I have tank space for a change. Oh my gosh. Just any fish? I'm sure you can get some non-poached neon tetras, right? Come on. Now, I have a question. This is for the conservationist people. So, are I think in some of the red threads that came up, you can get permits to collect these fish legally and whatnot. And I think there was mention of someone that does that with the what's the word? The oversight of an officer. I think his name is like Ping, PNG. Does that individual sell like fish collected with a permit to people out of the country, or is that only sold within the country or for reintroduction breeding? Big Steve said, I'm working on a flower horn reintroduction program. Steve, what are you talking about? A flower horn reintroduction program. That sounds like a bad idea, Steve. I guess you're moving to what? Florida? I'm pretty sure there's some places where invasive flower horns are a problem from people dumping them. So I don't know if your help is needed. They might already have that on top of things. Those are native to Vegas. Mick said, that's why I asked about DNA registration. Is it being done? DNA registration for the bettas. The platypus said, I'm specifically talking about the situation Mick brought up about people who end up with these poached fish and the ability to reintroduce those fish. I think from what the people in the chat are saying, maybe it is possible if they could identify the location, could be reintroduced. I don't know. Camjet said, so many people have anger in this hobby. Why not just let people have fun their own way? Too many people say their shit don't stink. Newsflash, everybody shits. Wow. I'm gonna have to comprehend that for a second. Everybody shits. You're getting so deep and philosophical with things today, Cam Jam. Truly. All right, guys. What else? I feel like we basically covered what happened. What else can we talk about here that's productive? Let's talk about those bug things you grow. Kopi says, paying sells primarily within the country. Some fish go to BSVK. Go back to reintroduce later. Gin F2 is sometimes sold outside. Interesting. Data says, BW fish don't carry many, Blackwater fish don't carry many diseases because of acidity. 2 to 3 weeks quarantine will make sure there's nothing transmissible. Interesting. I'm scared. All right. Final thoughts, questions, concerns. I guess in summary, I think if you're specializing in a fish, especially an endangered fish, and let me put this on myself. All right, I'm really into aquatic isopods. Okay, I sell aquatic isopods regularly. People message me about aquatic isopods regularly. It's something that I'm known to be passionate about and into. So there's some things that I try and make sure I know, because I know that I'm super into this. But not only that, I know that people see me as someone that they should be able to ask a certain question. Like, hey, I might not know how to identify the aquatic isopod, but I can point you towards some resources of how you could do that. Or it's something I care about, have knowledge in. I try and do my best to know the species that I have, at least to the level I can. I do everything I can to make sure I'm informed about this thing that, well, I'm already passionate about it, but also people see me as being passionate about it. So there's two things. You could be passionate about something, but when everyone knows that you're passionate about something, or that's the image you have, there's even higher expectation, right? So I think when you're someone like Blackwater Aquatics, some of this definitely could have been avoided by just understanding the position and responsibility that you have, right? As someone that's looked to as a pretty decently ethical source for bettas, you probably would have been served well to, at the very least, and this is going to sound terrible, not list those fish as wild caught if you're going to sell them. You know what I mean? At the very least, you probably could have been served by doing that. But like, For people mad because they expect them to know better, I don't think that is an unreasonable expectation for someone that has the image of being super into bettas, knowledgeable about caring about bettas, blackwater fish in general. I don't think it's unreasonable to have the expectation that they're going to be aware that certain species may have been poached. Now, Data Buffer said I've been 3 minutes behind the entire time. See, man, if you hopped on Discord, you'd be real time. That's what I'm saying. So I feel like that makes sense to me. I totally lost my train of thought because I'm laughing at the 3 minutes behind thing. Yeah, I think you do have a responsibility to kind of be aware of these things, and when you're called out for it, probably the response could have been better. They said Discord tomorrow, I thought. Oh, I didn't hear that. My bad. All right. Well, if you guys want to hop on Discord on stream another time, just I'm putting the link to my Discord because I think that would be the easiest way. I put a link to my Discord in the chat. We can follow up this conversation if you guys would like. Because contrary to popular belief, legitimately, even now, again, I'm doing a terrible job streaming now, but I really enjoy streaming and talking with you guys about these kind of things. I think these kind of situations do let us all discuss different ideas together. Everyone in the chat's been putting in their say, been pretty active, and I think a lot of interesting things brought up. So, you know, you could look at it as stirring up drama or not. I mean, I didn't make the post. The posts are on the internet. We're kind of here to talk about it in a more productive environment, right? Because when you're in a Reddit thread going back and forth, like even now, me talking on stream to the same people I was talking about in the Reddit threads, we're having a more productive discourse in this kind of environment. You know, text alone is a really bad way to communicate. It doesn't really convey tone and stuff a lot. So, you know, I think that this is pretty much worth it. Bomba said, holy, no one wants to hop on Discord. Bomba, definitely not hopping on Discord. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'll be honest, Scotty. All the stuff you want to talk about is pretty self-centered. Except for Steve being the best breeder ever. That's a good topic. That's a good topic. Shout out to Isopod Agenda. For sure. I will be doing some isopod finding excursions so I can prepare for my talk. I want to get some pictures and stuff. Some pictures unique to my talk that I'm having. Ooh, let me see if I can show it better right now. Give me 1 second. This might not be the best view. Oh, man. If you're a perfect fish keeper, link her channel below. I could learn from it. Yeah. That'd be nice. Perfect fish keepers out there. Scotty said, I don't care about boosts or scuds, but it sounds better than this topic. I'll be honest, Scotty. I do have an issue with you, Scotty. My issue with you is you only complain. You know what I mean? I'll never forget. There was the one, you guys remember the one time I streamed for like 10 hours? The next day, Scotty was complaining I wasn't streaming again yet. So honestly, Scotty, I need some more appreciation from you before I care about your complaints. Because I'll put in the most work possible and it still won't be enough. I love Ada. That's not a complaint. You're not even spelling her name right. It's Ayda. All right. I just pulled out the Corridors tank. There used to be a big storage on the left here. I just pulled out. Sorry. I have a single male album marginata, however you say it. There you go. Betta on screen. Finally. Yeah. I'm waiting until I can set up a new tank to pair them. I got the Epistogramma Hongsoy from Big Steve in there. And this is the left side of the tank, so you can see that's where she's got the cave set up. Mostly Betta hangs out on the right side, and I got the panda cories. But because the Alba Marginata, you know, the males, they're mouth brooders and stuff. This guy, he just recently spawned, so I separate him from the females for a while, so he can just like hang out and chill. And I'm gonna set up a new tank for him to go into. Scotty said that's a nice looking tank. Let's talk about it. That's not a complaint. Let's talk about it. The problem is all the utricularia. That's what the problem with this tank is. That's the problem with this tank. It's all over the place. Mick says Hongsoy female looks like she's guarding Wiggler Seshrai. I'm really hoping so. I think so, but I have not confirmed. I think so. Bomba said the Betta kind of mid needs an aquascape. Holy. The Platypus said Scotty also complained that the 9-hour stream was too long. Thank you for reminding of that, Platypus. Thank you. God, that was horrendous, bro. That was absolutely horrendous. Come on. Yeah, Scotty, I got beef with you. I can't listen to your suggestions. JP says Nick has no mods. You trust no one? What? My mods just are never here. What can I say? You know what? I should probably... It's like, should I mod Mick? The problem is, I like that Mick can just enjoy the stream and be in chat. He mods other streams. It's like, I don't want him to feel like he got to be modding, you know? But I feel like if I was going to mod another person, Mick would probably be the person I should mod. Couple Fish said, if we aquascape the protected areas well enough, the Betta would breed better. You're talking about in nature? Are you for real right now, dog? If you aquascape the areas in nature, they'll breed better. Is that your way to a conservation strategy? I don't know. Dwarf says, oh shit, a mod scattered. A couple of fish for mods. I like people not having a mod. That's the thing. You know? What type of cories are they? These are panda cories. Come on. You know what kind of cories they are. Come on. And Mick said, I'm tired AF. Yeah, I agree. I can't mod Mick because it's always like 3 a.m. Where is that? Like he might get like drunk with power, dox people, report them. You just don't know what might happen if we do that. Camjan said BBA thinks Bomba thinks everything is mid because he likes Gucci. No, that's true. That's very true. Jesse says your mod is always lurking. See, there we go. We got a mod in chat. Everyone just wants to be promoted. What can I say? Man, what can I say? While you're all still here, first, yes, Aquarium Society Central Maryland meeting. We're doing fish trivia this Sunday. Jesse said, Mama and the baby are doing great. Thanks for asking. Oh my gosh. Come on. Congratulations, though, to Jesse. And I'm glad to hear the baby and Mama are doing well. While I have you here, I will just say I'm very grateful for you guys. The last stream, I felt like was fire. You guys enjoy the last stream? I felt like it was fantastic. Bro, the ads I get are crazy. The natural aquariums do not exist. You should change your water stream. I watched a good bit of the stream back. I was cooking, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I was cooking. That's why I'm kind of bummed out today that the stream has been so ass, because that stream was fantastic. Oh man, I was having a lot of fun that stream. I was. Jesse said every stream's a W. Oh, I appreciate that. Bomba says we just need to do more water changes. Yeah. Catcrow said last stream was better than this stream. Unfortunately I have to agree. No one's too young to know Gucci Man, Camjan. That's a legend. I mean, in the start tonight, you saw me totally misread. Oh, that's true. That's true. You need to listen to Young Jock. That's crazy. No, last stream was fire. So I really appreciate you guys, because we've been having a good time. We're having fun. it's just not every stream is gonna be a banger, I guess. That's on me. So sometimes when I don't stream for long periods of time between each other, it's for a reason. If I feel like the stream ain't gonna be that good, I just don't stream. So I thought today I was gonna be able to do the stream and have it be decent, but maybe I shouldn't have. Perhaps another show your tank stream? Yes, guys, yes. I need you to actually send pictures of your tanks in the Discord, because I'm gonna do another show / we'll do a lighthearted tank rating stream. And if you guys want, we can bring on some super haters. I can be here. We can bring on Bomba. We could bring on a couple of fish. I don't know. It could be kind of funny. So JP said I like Kahoot trivia. Yeah. We're gonna do another trivia soon, so I hope you guys have been paying attention. Jacob said, "Bro, the stream was a good stream. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Hardest working." Yep. All right. Let me not overstay my welcome. Closing words. Bomba said, "For real, W stream. I appreciate that." My closing words are basically, look. This is a situation. Let me know your opinion in the chat. Replay crew, let me know your opinion in the chat. I think that approach is everything when it comes to communicating with people. Approach is everything. And when it's an individual talking to a business, things are different. But when we're talking to each other, I think there's a lot more control and a lot more ways that we can make sure we're having productive conversations, right? So hopefully, if I do a Discord with the other people, let's see, I went back and forth with them a little bit in the Reddit and the Discord, but they were in the chat the whole stream. And yeah, there's a couple like jabs. I can't pronounce anything, but I'm reading their chats. It's fine. I want to hear what they had to say. I'm saying the things that I think and stuff, and it could be wrong, could be right, and that's fine. But that to me is what's important. So I apologize. I feel like the stream was a little bit scuffed, but hopefully you guys thought about something interesting, thought about something useful regarding this topic, regarding conservation, thought about ethics and morals and poor business responses a bit. And yeah, that's all I can really hope for this. The Papa said, "I enjoy the stream." I don't think Louise is just mad at me already in general. So, it is what it is. I think Tapapus said, "I enjoy the stream. I don't think Louise was a fan, but I think at least some better communication can now be had between you and the data crew." Indeed. We'll have to find out. Instead of arguing and drama and bashing and debates. Well, Scotty, no bashing and debates and stuff have been going on. So I don't know what you're talking about. Scotty said, "Why don't you do happy streams and education? You kick ass when you do it, just my opinion." Well, for one, life isn't just all happy. Scotty, you're going to have to get over it. For two, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, look at my stream history. Natural aquariums do not exist. You should change your water. Educational stream, fire. 309 new fish species. Auction review, fire. Educational. Boric acid better than methylene blue for preventing fungus on eggs, fire. Educational. How to run a fish swap. Sell from home. Hanging with Judson Turner. Fire. Educational. New arrival Friday. Plus industry news. Whatever you guys want. Fire. Intricate trivia night. I don't remember what I talked about this stream. Looking up fish. Aquascaping and plant maintenance with a couple of fish. Testing out the wave maker. Talking about Daphne for 2 hours. Auction review. Fish photo review. Protozoan and parasites. Life cycle identification and treatment. 2 hours. Road to master breeder. 2 hours. 2-hour interview with Fathom. New arrival Friday again. Looking at killifish of the world. We looked at hundreds of killifish species. 3 hour, 30-minute stream. Rescaping my tank. New arrivals again. Updated website. Storm prep. Setting up Autosynclus Heraldi tank. Selling fish courses now. Okay, that one was just bullshit. Breeding Autosynclus. What is the auto? Research time. CCO auction recap. Looking up fish again. Setting up CO2 tanks. Oh my god, bro. All I do on here is talk about educational shit. Shut the fuck up. I can talk about messy drama once every 4 months. I've been streaming for 50 fucking hours every month. every bro, hardest working fish stream. What did you think this was? Who else gives you something to fall asleep to at night? I'll read a fucking paper about boosts. Oh my, bro. Let's look at the boost stream, bro. I know the boost stream was just absolutely outrageous. Now I can't see out. Boost for Philandra readings, 5 hours and 50 minutes. All right, let's see. Let's see. Scotty the fish freak. Let's see the live stream. The live stream education going on here. 6 days ago, Scotty, for 1 hour. 13 days ago, not even an hour. Oh, these are pop-ups. Oh, you're just chatting. Where's the education? Why don't you do a stream talk about how to run an event? Bro, it's been like a whole month. We got like 5 hours of streams. Oh my God. I gotta get this guy out of here, bro. We got the beef. I've been successfully baited. I can't do this anymore, bro. I can't do this anymore with you, Scotty. What's going on? I can't believe this. Why don't you ever stream about anything educational? Oh my God, bro. This is crazy. The disrespect of my own chat. Yo, where is my moderators? We need to open an investigation. We gotta open an investigation. Obama says setting up CO2 tanks was not educational. Oh my God. Scotty said got him. That woke his ass up. Oh my God. JP said, I've been thinking about creating stats from fish streams to submit your title of hers working. I appreciate you, JP. I do. Catgirl said the rage bait is insane. Yo, I said open investigation. Jesse said, I don't think you want to open that can, Nick. Bro, you're no shit, bro. That's fucking crazy. Jacob said, dude likes to hear himself talk, I bet. I mean, let's be real. I stream for like 5 hours at a time. I can't hate hearing myself talk enough, right? Holy. Holy. But no, every now and then we got to do some drama shit. We got to deal with some negative things every now. I felt like I kept it pretty light. I think this was good. I think it was good. To me, it wasn't a good stream because I did do my research. I had more notes and stuff, but then I messed it all up. It's not together, so it wasn't really as nice, but it's still fine. If we look at the streams I was doing like a couple months ago, we're still pretty, on an up and up improvement wise. You know what I mean? Camden said, Nick, you the man. You need a vacation, bro. Fish people psycho for real. Nah, we're good. We're good. Bro fired up for another 30 minutes of stream. Hey, if you wanna rage bait me into talking some shit, now's the perfect time. I don't think I really got anything to talk about, bro. I'm only mad about Scotty. That's really the only thing that I'm mad about at this point. You know what I mean? Filler stream still good. You call this a filler stream? Holy. See, I got some people said the stream was fine. Some people said, oh, now Scotty sounds messy with them. I watch all the streams and enjoy them. Bamba said, let's talk about 3 people throw rocks together and some wood and call it escape. Oh my gosh, bro. L Scotty JP says, let's talk about Steve's Candida. Oh, Big Steve. Yeah, did you breed them yet? Jacob said, don't let that shit get you. I won't entertain him trying to come at me now. Yo, you guys got to watch out for Jacob, man. He was the one that got me talking about that discus door stuff because he was posting videos of him laughing at them arguing. This guy's a D1 instigator. Come on. We got my back. Holy. You can try to... You don't have moderators besides Captain? I do. Jesse's in the chat. That's my moderator, bro. I got a mod. Jesse. Jesse's the mod. I mean, come on. What do we have to talk about that's even controversial these days? Not changing water? Like, that seems to be it. You know what I mean? The fact that a bowl aquariums are becoming more popular. Like, you would think that after all this progress supposedly we've made about keeping fish, that there wouldn't be a company still making. We got premium fish bowls now. Like, before it's like, yo, don't put your fish in a fish bowl. Now we got premium fish bowls, and like, someone's gonna put fish in it. We got $110 fish bowls. This shit's absolutely egregious. 1.6 gallons. Jesus Christ, bro. With that budget, you could definitely buy like a 5-gallon tank kit at least. Jacob said Camelina swarms becoming resistant to levomyosol. Okay. You know what? Calamina swarms. I'm making a note. We can talk about that. We can. Papa said you don't need mods. Yeah, $109 for a 1.6 gallon bowl. Okay. Kind of crazy. Catgirl says, what is aquascaping? Is there a difference for what you do with your ticks? Aquascaping is something for competitions. You know what I mean? It's not something. I think there's a bad definition for it, honestly. Like, I think if you just set up your tank and it looks nice and you plant it, it probably isn't aquascaping unless you're doing it for the purpose of competition. As far as critiquing it, like, if I want to critique it as an aquascape, I'm gonna be critiquing it off of like a photo competition rule set. You know what I mean? I have not put Ada on camera yet, but Ada is here. Ada the cat is here. Say hi, Ada. Ada's like, why did you do this? I know, Ada. It's a made-up word for fancy people. Got it. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, WCat. Shout out to Ada the cat. AYDA. Why you mad at Scotty? He's sweet and he has cute cats. Oh my god. Tricked another one. Pompey says, Jacob, what about flubendazole, not fenbendazole? I think last time I looked at Camelina swarms, it did seem like levomyosol was what I landed on as being the best. But Mick said shipping prices to increase. I mean, I do think shipping prices are only going to increase, especially if you're in the U.S. Like, here, let me look at this. Yeah, so this was like a week ago, right? The USPS could run out of cash in 12 months, Post General says. The recently appointed Postmaster General David Steiner says he expects the United States Postal Service to run out of cash by 2027 unless Congress lifts the agency's statutory debt limit of $15 billion that was enacted in 1990. We're out of cash in 12 months if we don't do anything different. So, they've lost money almost every fiscal year since 2007. Reduction in mail pieces is expected to continue largely because transactions and other communications are moving more online. They typically receive no tax dollars and rely on sales on postage, products, and services to fund its operation. We have to have a conversation with the American public, he told the Associated Press. If you want us to deliver everywhere, every day, we'll do it. That's not a problem. But who is going to pay for it? So, yeah. Shipping has increased in expenses since I started. I think it will only go up, especially if we got wars and oil prices skyrocketing and shit. I mean, holy. Dwarfs said, levomyosol is the only thing that worked in my experience. Yeah. That was what did it for me. Atkins Nature Aquarium said, aquascape are temporary, maybe lasting a year. I think fish keepers like us try to keep the tank long term, maybe. Mama said my scapes last maybe 3 months. What the wait, Pampa? What? What do you mean? If Foley grows out and I rescape it, what the hell? Come on, bro. Really? Foley tuning out, Nick. I'm just here for the chat at this point. Well, that's how a good stream should be, honestly. That's why I encourage the chat. That's why we can't have too many mods. You guys got to be able to have fun in the chat, you know? any good stream is based and solidified by the foundation of a active and fun chat, right? Something Fishy Alaska said, sounds like stamps are going up again. Probably. A couple fish said, love my Frank's Betta. Bought one of the first coppers in the US. Bro, I didn't even notice I went to Frank's Betta, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very interested. I think out of all like the non-wild type stuff, like the alien bettas do look very, like they just look cool. I'm not even that much of like a, super bred out, fancy looking betta kind of person, but like the line that Steve got from Blackwater Aquatics, a Macronensis hybrid line, like those look really nice. And I think some of these look very nice. I get it. I definitely get it. Bob said, that's how you get good at scaping. You're not going to improve going one tank every 3 years. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Why can't you just get good immediately? I don't understand. I feel like you should be able to figure this out. I'll put a vid on Discord. Alright. Good Discord video. Atkins said, got good from day one. Yeah. Just one more fish said, Nick, I sent you a video on Discord too. What the hell's going on here? Why is this is mail time? Okay. Let's see what Jesse sent me. I'll just show it without even, it could be anything. Let's see what he sent me. Come on. What's going on here? It appears to be some shrimp. Let me take a closer look at these shrimp. Something up with their eyes, perhaps. Oh, okay. And they're buried up. And they're eating what I assume is a very fancy shrimp food. Someone identify these shrimp. What do we got going? Orange eyes? Is that what I'm seeing? George Secoliet said, found a seller with all 4 species of Ellisoma stock. Seems too good to be true. There's a couple people that got them all, especially if they're collecting them. There's a good amount of them. Jesse said, these are orange eye yellow King Kong. Ooh. That does sound fancy. Bamba said they look blind to me. Fair enough. They do look kind of blind. I can see that. Now, let's see. Let's compare this to a couple fishes video, depending on, where did you put it, by the way, because I ain't seen it yet. It's really hard to tell where people post stuff sometimes, you know what I mean? Holy. Eating shrimp envy, obviously. Oh my God, this is a sponsored post. Platypus said, I recently sold some Ellisoma and everyone who bought some was asking for other Ellisoma species as well. Bro, you bred Ellisoma and sold it already? Good work, man. Good work. Jacob said, Bamba, you're a car detailer. I've been detailing cars for like 10 years. Apparently, Bamba has a detailing business or something like that. You know what I mean? I hope it's not like Escapes, but... All right, check it out. We got the video in from a couple fish. Hold up. Of the Frank's Betta. You guys tell me, is this Betta great, or is it just okay? Kakro said, nice stream, dude. Looking forward to you and Bamba doing an Aquascape stream. Gotta get some sleep. All right. Bamba said, I've been dealing for like 8 years. Bro, you've been dealing? I thought you had a detailing service. Now you're just admitting to dealing. This is crazy. Yeah, we got all sorts of investigations opening on this stream. Holy. All right, here we go. Betta video from a couple fish. Let's see. Oh, hey, that's a pretty. The patterns on the caudal tail is just so crazy. It looks like it's got a bunch of swords. Wow. Damn, he look angry though. That's the thing. Yo, this guy looks so angry. Like, yo, my strawberry bettas. Since I can't pronounce anything, I'll just stick with that. But the strawberry bettas, the wild types I got, like, they're chill, man. They don't ever be like trying to attack me like this. This guy looked like he ready to break through the glass. Look at him. That's pretty. It's a pretty betta. It's easy money. How do you think I could afford all them ADA tanks? I thought you just scammed people. I didn't know you were dealing. But yeah, this is a very pretty betta. Man. So if you were to, are these the kind of betta like you could buy one that looks pretty much like this pretty easily these days? Or would you say, because I don't really know much about betta quality evaluation. 186 said that thing were tear up by community. It does look pretty unfriendly. I'm not gonna lie. It do look unfriendly. That's the one thing. What did you keep with it? Looks like an AI betta. Okay. Couple Fish said you can get them pretty easy these days compared. Nice. All right. Any last thoughts? I'm about to hop off in here. If you want me to stream tomorrow or anytime soon, and you know, if you want to see me again, no, I'm joking. There's nothing you can do. But if you want me to stream again, post some photos of your tanks. I want to do a tank review stream. I think it'll be fun. Post some photos in the Discord, in the photos channel. I'm gonna put the link to the Discord and pin it, and then talk for a few more minutes just to give people time to join it if they haven't already. But next stream, I would like to do a photo review stream. So join the Discord, post a photo of your tank in the photos channel. We probably will go over it. All right. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be lurking. Nice. Bomb said I'll say hi in general. Good. He's dealing that white stuff. I don't know, man. That's kind of racist. I don't know about that. Okay. I think that's good. I appreciate you guys. This has been In My Tanks. JP, you got to get past the captures. This is so concerning that you can't defeat captures to get on Discord. Like, are you sure you're not a robot? Are you sure you're not a robot? All right. I'm headed out. Appreciate you guys. I'm In My Tanks. And I'm out.